You can shoot straight, I can't. Yeah. Again?
Like Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday night, we don't hustle.
You know what? I have some very
I think what saved him is police, because police had just stay out there and guard, because the wildlife said they wasn't coming at night to get you.
shot him and skinned him and ate him.
That bad go up the tree. He had me about 300 fights, go up the tree, he come right now, go up the tree.
Good morning, good morning. Once again, we'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Side 41 Church of Christ. Well, thank you. Ask that you will continue to pray again for all mankind. Pray for yourself first of all. We just happy to have you with us this morning. We're ready for an arising lesson this morning. Our Bible study will be led by Brother Stanley Young. Again, for those of you on YouTube, trust and hope that everything's going well with you and your family. Our opening selection this morning will be number 33. Number 33 will sing two verses. We'll pause for a word of prayer. And we'll finish up with the 33 now. We'd like to go to these four. We praise thee, O God. We sing. Yeah, we praise thee, O God. A lot of you are familiar with this song. Many times here at Side 41. Side 41 Church of Christ. Thank you for joining in English this morning. If you haven't ever seen, we praise thee, O God, for the Son of thy love, for Jesus who died and is now gone above. Hallelujah, thy glory. Hallelujah, amen. Hallelujah, thy glory. Revive us again. We praise thee, O God, for the Spirit of life, who has shown us our Savior and scattered our life. Hallelujah, thy glory. Hallelujah, amen. Hallelujah again. Heavenly Father, once more again, we come before thy throne of grace and mercy in the name of Jesus, Father. We just want to say thank you this morning for allowing us to rise, to be able to see another beautiful day that you have created us beyond measure. Thank you for your grace, your mercy this morning. Also, Father, we want to thank you above all for your darling Son, Jesus Christ, who gave us life. Once again, we pray that you will continue to bless all mankind throughout the universe, especially those in the household of faith. Right now, we're going through some trying times right now, but Father, this is what our lesson taken about this month is we're studying faith. And we just pray that everyone will realize and continue to hold on to their faith in Jesus, because we know that He is one that has made a way for mankind. And Father, you have always promised us that you will never leave us or forsake us. So we just need to hold on to that faith in what you have told us in your word. Again, we pray for all the leaders throughout the world again this morning, Father. We pray that you will guide them, their hearts, that they will be able to make better decisions that will affect all mankind as we deal with this pandemic right now, Father. But Father, we know that you own the pandemic. So thank you for all that you have done for us. Most of all, we just pray this morning that for forgiveness, Father, for our sinful words, thoughts, and deeds. Well, because if we learn how to forgive, and you for please continue to keep our mindset on your word that we show here on earth will be able to be seen by those who are in darkness, Father, that they will come to thee and live before us everlasting too late. Once again, we give this blessing in Jesus' precious name. We give thanks for all things. Amen. Next voice you will hear, sing verse number 4 will be our teach for this morning, Brother Stanley Young. All glory and praise to the God
I don't can hear me. All right. I can even hear myself. I want to say good morning to all the brethren here at the South 41 Church of Christ. Good morning to all of you who are out there in Facebook land and YouTube land. We are certainly glad to have you tune in with us. Hope that there's something learned from this morning's lesson. In the book of Hebrews, we're lesson number 13, and it's called Moving Forward. Moving forward. When we say, I'll get right into that, when we say moving forward, that's just the opposite of going backwards. And that's what the Hebrew writer was trying to encourage the church during that time as they were going through some persecution, as they were going through some challenges in their Christian faith. He said, in spite of that, move forward. Right. I wish Sister Mary Morrison here because she's like a footballer now. When you come out of the backfield, you're running the ball, and a bunch of guys jump on your back, the goal is to continue to move. Right. The goal isn't to run backwards. That's the reason why I like guys who like to dance and a whole lot of stuff like that. While you dancing, people are catching up with you. Right. The enemy's catching up with you. But if you continue to move forward, they can't catch up with you. So we have to learn as Christians. In spite of what we're going through in this life, continue to move forward. And the way that you move forward is to keep your eyes focused on Jesus. Keep your eyes, your thoughts, your mind, your everything focused on him. And that's what the Hebrew writer has been saying throughout this book. Okay? I guess I'm going to start with the scripture this morning, begin on page number 133. And start reading there. Now, when you look at verse number 1, that's a bunch to me. There's some sermons within that verse number 1, and so I'm going to try to do the best I can to break that down so we can get a clearer picture of it. Okay, first thing it says, therefore, since we also are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. And the first thing I want to deal with is the greater cloud of witnesses. And that greater cloud of witnesses are the people who came before us. In this case, if we go over to Hebrews chapter 11, and reading from verses 32, I would say from verses 32 to 38. And it says, and it reads, it says, remember those earlier days after you had received the light, when you endured a great conflict full of suffering. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to insult and persecution, and other times you stood side by side with those who were treated so. You suffered long with those in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your property. Because you knew that you yourselves had a better and lasting possession. So don't throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive his promise. For he is just, for in just a little while, he is coming and will not delay. Now, that ain't what I wanted to read. But I hope you got the same message. All right, here's what I want to read. Hebrews. I do not have time to tell you about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, and about David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouths of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, and escaped the edge of the sword. Those weaknesses returned into strength, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies, whom received back their dead, raised to life again. There were others who were tortured, refusing to release that they might gain an even better resurrection. Some faced jeers and floggings and even chains and imprisonment. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, living in caves and in holes in the ground. These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. So my whole point in chapter 1, number 1, those are witnesses that went before that suffered persecution, endured it, and came and was better off for it on the other side. Okay? He goes on to say, let us lay aside every weight and sin which so easily beset us or ensnare us. Now, as I read in the lesson, the writer had different opinions about sin. Okay? Is he talking about sin in general? But is he talking about individual sin? In other words, let us lay aside every weight and that would so easily beset us. A weight, if that is an inordinate affection and concern for the body and the present life and the world we live in. It's like a dead weight on the soul. So we have to understand, let us lay aside every weight and sin. Weight, the cares of this world, the concerns of this world. He said, lay it aside, okay? The affections of this world, lay it aside. And I know sometimes that can be challenging for some of us, but guess what? If we're going to move forward, there's some things you got to lay aside, Christian. There's some things you're going to have to give up. There's some confidence that you keep with certain people you can't keep anymore. There's some places that you used to go, you shouldn't go anymore because it's a weight. Yeah, are you still a Christian? Yeah, but it's slowing you down. It's hindering your progress and your relationship with God. Okay? All right. Every weight and sin. What is it that catch you like a fishing hook every time? What is it? Now, only you and God know what it is. Like we say, what is your Achilles heel? You know, everybody got something that can easily beset us. You know how it is when the wife or the husband know you got certain friends, right? When they drive up, you know, they don't want you hanging out with those kind of people because they know. Once you and that person get together, then you all going, not only are they going to mislead you, you all going to mislead each other. But you're bad news for one another. Okay? So, what is it? You see, only you and God, only God and I know what it is. All up. So you get my eyes all big and have all my teeth shining and all that kind of stuff, you know. And that's that sin. He just lay it aside now. Lay it aside. All right, in other words, when we should be growing, we're shrinking. That's what happens. When you should be growing, you're shrinking. When we should be. Another football analogy. You don't want your offense going backwards on the football field. That means either your running back is getting hit in the backfield, either your quarterback is being sacked, or you got some illegal motion penalties going on. You're doing something wrong if you're going backwards. So let me ask a question this morning for the Christian. Which way is your life going as a Christian? Is it going forward or is it going backward? Now, if it's going forward, that means that you got your eyes fixed on the Lord. You got your eyes fixed on keeping the commandments of God. I ain't even talking about you doing everything right. You got your eyes, you got your focus on the Lord, right? Now, if your life, Christian life, seems to be going backwards, well, then you need to check yourself. Because God has done all that he said he was going to do for you. He has saved you. He has kept you by his grace. He has given you his Holy Ghost. He has given you his word. It's up to you now, as an individual, to make sure that you are growing in Christ. Okay? Don't blame it on the preacher. Don't blame it on the teacher. Because guess what? You have a Bible. You have a Sunday school book, and you know how to read like the rest of us. And if you don't know how to read, we will teach you how to read and understand what it is. So there's no excuses, right? So when I speak of going backwards, the only time I put my car in reverse is when it's absolutely necessary. We're supposed to be like cars going forward. Now, if you driving around your car around in reverse, I can get you won't be driving too long. Driving straight ahead. That's the reason why God made the front of the car with the windshield in the front bigger than he did the back. He didn't intend for you to drive. Cars not designed for you to drive like this. Because if you drive like that, trouble is on the horizon. The trouble is in front of you, not behind you. All right, I'll move on. All right, now let me deal with the other part of that. And he says, endurance or patience. Lord help us. We need that. Because when my life it's not shaping up, my Christian life and my life is not shaping up the way I think it should be shaping up. Some of us have a tendency, to get impatient. We get impatient with ourselves. We get impatient with other people, And I know that's difficult. You ain't. Or some other Christians say, well, you're not growing fast enough. Everybody has their own. But the race is about patience. And I think it's Ecclesiastes 9:11 says, we are running a race of endurance. The Christian is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not the Indianapolis 500. Okay, it's not about the Talladega 500. It's not about the Atlanta Speedway. This is not the Christian race. It's not about speed. It's about endurance. And if you want anything in this world that's going to see you through, it's going to have to be endurance. It's going to have to be patient. Because otherwise, you're going to find yourself in and out. When things are going good, you're up and you're happy. When things are not going so good, you're blocked. Because you got to remember that this is a race for endurance training. If you're a pro athlete or any kind of athlete, you want to do endurance training. It's very important. Okay? Endurance is something you really have to work at and build up. And the scripture talks about those who endure or are patient to the end is going to receive the crown. And it's well worth the wait. It's just like the old man said one time, he's outside the restaurant, get in, it's hot outside, it's sweaty. He come out of the restaurant, he got a toothpick in his mouth, and he got all them gaps in his teeth, and he said, it's well worth the wait. It's well worth the wait. So patience is essential. Endurance is essential to this Christian race. We run a Christian race of service, a race of suffering, And the blueprint is none other than the Word of God. That's the blueprint we should be going by in this Christian race. Moving forward, we have the blueprint, that is the Word of God. Okay, moving on. It says, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the cross despised his shame and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. In other words, I just already mentioned that. Looking unto Jesus. If you want to see an example of endurance, you want to see an example of patience, look unto Jesus. And look unto those in the Old Testament, in the book of Hebrews, how to do it with patience. Okay? We have all kinds of examples out there. If they can do it, we can do it. And guess what, you all? We're trying to set examples for the young people that's coming behind us. We're trying to show them what patience and endurance will do for you and how it's going to pay off for you. So let us be an example for our children, for one another, DXI 41. All right. We're going to start now. Go down here to verse number 12 to 24. Okay. Verse number 12 says, therefore strengthen the hands which hang down and the feeble knees. In other words, what that scripture is saying to me, church, we need to encourage one another. We need to encourage the struggling brother or sister in their faith. We should live until they can stand on their own feet, like helping a baby walk on his own. Strengthen those who are weak, those who hands hang, somebody and the knees kind of wobble. That's the example that he gave. Encourage them. See, we need one another. We need to be able to lean on one another. I've noticed that some churches, some buildings, when we had up in Portland, was built, and it had some big wooden beams on each side, and in the top, they all met together. They held one another up. They held one another, and that's what we should do. When your brother is struggling, say something encouraging to him. Or sister, say something encouraging to him. Help him. The best way that you know how. And that's all God expects from us. Okay? It said, make straight the path of your feet, so that what is lame may not be dislocated, rather healed. Okay? In other words, in that verse, it's telling me to focus on the Word of God so that improvement will come to a person's life. On the Word of God. Then you won't be so burnt out and tired and what people need. That's what that path is talking about. Focus on that path. Okay? It's going to always be stuff happening in the world around us. It's never going to stop. I have some eyes, Brother James Montgomery. When I look at what's going on in the world, 98% of it ain't that serious. What's really serious in this life is that you be saved, you live for the Lord, and you go to heaven when you die. All the other stuff that's happening around, yeah, there's some importance to politics. There's some importance to making sure the water supply is healthy and all. That's important. But nothing is as important as your soul salvation. Nothing. And I see a whole lot of stuff going, man, I've been saying it ain't that serious. Whether or not we play football this year, ain't that serious. I like football. Whether or not but maybe baseball, it ain't that serious. So when I look at these things and I see how much they put a lot of emphasis on these things, it's like I back up and go, oh, is it really that serious? Is it really that serious? Well, Everybody has to view the world on their own and determine what it really says. Verse number 14. And he goes on to say, pursue peace with all people and holiness, without which no man will see. Pursue. In any sport, especially, this is for Sister Mary Martin, you have what you call pursuit angles. And you pursue the ball. You pursue, if you're a lion, you pursue the zebra. You go after it. You know where it is. You know what it is. And you go after it with a vengeance. Right. So when you see the ball going that way, you find out what the ball is, and you run as hard as you can, like a sea missile seeking its spot. Right. And when you get close enough to the spot and it's still there, you explode onto it. You blow it up. Right. He said that's where we should pursue peace. Go after it. Pursue it. Chase after it. And holiness. Notice he put them together. Let me explain what holiness is. I'm putting it in that shit. Okay? That's being Christ-like. There's some people that took holiness as being that, you beat on drums and you roll on the floor, you speak in tongues. That's not holiness. Holiness is being Christ-like. Pursue peace and holiness. They're together. Notice he put them together, peace and holiness. Right. For without it, no man shall see God. Right. So we should be going out to peace and holiness. Now let me explain what peace is. Okay? Peace is not just absence of conflict, but it's being calm when there is conflict. Okay, that's what peace he's talking about. Romans 12:18 says, Paul said, as much as lies within you, be at peace with all men. And now, in order for you to be at peace with all men, you're going to have to take something. It's not, peace doesn't mean also going along just to get along. No, it means that you are tolerant of some things. Okay, you put up with stuff. Jesus was very tolerant. Jesus put up with a lot of stuff. Okay, that's what peace is. Putting up with stuff, tolerating stuff from people, tolerating other people's shortcomings. And he goes on to say also in that same, not far after that, before that, in the preceding verses, if your enemy is thirsty, give him some water to drink. If he's hungry, give him food to eat. And so, in doing so, it's like heaping coals of fire on his head. In other words, it's supposed to humble the person. Not punish him, but humble him. That's what Jesus did. You ever notice, when I look throughout the Word of God, it doesn't ask us to do anything that we can't do. And when you follow in peace with all men, one thing you'll get exposed later on if you're faking it. Because when you're going through something, somebody's treating you bad, and you're trying to be nice to them, not to say you wouldn't correct it, but it's going to come out as whether or not you've been faking it. It's going to come out. So one day you're going to open up your mouth and you're going to say something you ought not say. So allow what you're doing to be legitimate. When it comes to following peace with all men. Put up with some stuff, tolerate some stuff. They ain't always like it, what people do to you. See, this is how the Christian operates, right? Somebody that lied on you, somebody that stole stuff from you. They try to ruin your reputation, right? And you see them in need. See, here's the true test now. You see them in need. They call maybe you broke down. They may need some food to buy money to buy groceries. They may have a need. And then when you step up and do that, see, that's gonna really mess with their mind. Because that's what Jesus did. In spite of what Jesus had went through, think about this now. This, a little bit off course, but think about this. In spite of all Jesus had went through, a mock trial, they lied on him, spit on him, they beat him, they brutalized our Savior. And all he ever did was help people. And guess what he said? Why he took their hand? He forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You knowingly or out of ignorance. That's a whole nother sermon. But he said, pursue peace and holiness. Peace and holiness. That's just simple, put it simple. That's being Christ-like. Pursue being Christ-like. Okay? All right. Verse 15. Looking carefully, lest anyone fall short of the grace of God. Root spring up cause trouble, and by this many become defiled. Usually, when there's problems in the church, somebody has some bitterness inside them. There's some bitterness. See, unfortunately for a lot of people, y'all, we carry around a garbage bag. Some of us carry around a big, huge garbage bag of garbage. And when the pressure comes, when things heat up a little bit, we open it up, we throw all that garbage on somebody else. Maybe it was something happened in your life earlier when you was a kid or adult. It was something that went wrong, and you carry around all this bitterness. And we don't get rid of it. And what happens is we start to throw all this garbage on the other people. Okay? In every church where there is a problem, there is some kind of bitterness or selfishness at the very root of it. Right? Okay? It's some personal that has happened in somebody's life to where now they have an opportunity to vent and they're going to let it go. And we have to be careful about that. Allowing bitterness, unforgiveness, and stuff to fester in our lives. Because guess what? It's going to show up in a big way. It's going to show up. And when you get under pressure, like the Hebrew people was, because of your faith, it really come out. Because see, what's in you is going to come out. Once your character is going to be exposed, it's going to get tested. And if there's something in there that's not right, it's coming out. Now, I know everybody don't have it. We got people with perfect character. But there's something we got in there that we're holding on to, that we can't wait to unload. It's going to come out. So we have to be careful not to allow bitterness to grow up in our life, in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts, in our souls. Now, here's the next verse number 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person like Esau, who for a morsel of food sold his birthright. Now, we get to the Church of Christ for years about whether or not Jacob stole Esau's birthright and he sold it to whatever. Right there told me he sold it to him. So that answered the question. He was debating it. I heard that debated for a long time. He stole it. No, he stole it. No, he stole it. He sold it. Right here it said he sold it. Case closed for them. But anyway, what this scripture is talking about here, a profane person, a fornicator, a profane person, like Esau, he said, the scripture said, he said, lest any fornicator, profane person like Esau, who for one morsel of food sold his birthright. Listen, that's deep, y'all. I'm going to tell you why it's deep. Because right here, he's using an example of individuals like us as Christians, right? See, God has given us the very best. Okay? He's letting them know what you have now. You don't be like Esau. What you have now, don't give it up. Don't be like Esau. Don't give it up for a little or nothing. Because you're going through a little persecution. Let me bring it on down home further with us. You all ever saw a man who was married to a nice person, and they trade them in for like a thug or a street person? Say, I want to make sure I drive this point home. Esau, okay, had a birthright that was worth a whole lot. Had an inheritance that was worth a lot. And he gave it up for a piece of meat. In other words, don't give up your salvation of what God gave to you that is very valuable, more valuable than you can imagine, for nothing. Don't give up what you got for nothing. And if you can get what you got for what you already have, then just keep what you got. If it's not an improvement, why are you going to give it up? If that was something better than Christ, okay. You get something better than Christ, okay, fine. You got something better, but don't go backwards. Remember the story, the title this morning is Moving Forward, right? Don't go backwards, move forward. And see, some of us in real life, we have to learn that in the dating game, Brother Jackson. No, people make mistakes about who to date. But see, that's something should be constantly improving if you're going to do about that dating. Don't get caught up with the same kind of people over and over again. You're going nowhere. Improve. Improve in your life. Improve in your spiritual life. Don't you want to grow? It's just like, okay, would you trade in your Mercedes-Benz that's running really good, right, for a Toyota truck? I'm just messing, Brother Doctor. But would you trade in your Mercedes-Benz for a Pinata? A Pinata is an animal that's going to walk real slow and not going to get you anywhere. So why would you trade in the best for the worst? It doesn't make any sense. You have Jesus. You have salvation. Okay? Why would you want to give that up like Esau for nothing? And guess what? Later on, once you give up Christ, once you reject Christ, you can't get it back again. Did y'all know that? I ain't talking about the fact that you just sin. Once you denounce Christ, in other words, saying that you no longer believe in him, you can't turn around and say, I believe again and be saved. That's it. Esau, even though he repented, the Bible says, it goes on to say, even though he repented and saw it bitterly, he could not, God did not reverse what he had done. God did not change what he had done. So if we reject Christ, after knowing who he is and what he's done for us and what he continues to do for us, after we reject him, then he ain't gonna save you a second time, right? He don't do it. Can't get it back. So he's warning them, keep what you got. Because what you have is you got the best there is. You can't get anything better than what you have. So keep what you got. Don't be like Esau. Don't give up what you got for nothing. Now, like I said, it's too late for Esau. It's too late for Esau. You're sold to the devil. You can't buy it back. It's too late. Don't leave Christ. don't reject Christ. Do that, there's no return. And let me put a note, let me put emphasis on this also. I'm not talking about the fact that you didn't just sin, done something you should have done. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you, as an individual, may say, I no longer believe in Jesus. Not good. I don't believe he's the Son of the living God. You're done. You don't believe in Jesus? Now, you said you believed in him before. Now you're going backwards and saying that you don't believe in him anymore. You're done. You're done. You might as well get your ticket to Boom Boom Land ready. You're done. All right. Verses 18 through 24. I'm going to read over some of that. And that's what verses 18 and 24 through 18 through 24 is doing. He's making a comparison between how the church was then and how the church is now. Okay? He's making a comparison. And he's showing you how you wouldn't want to be a part, not that it wasn't something bad, but the way God dealt with them then, when it came to, well, let's read it. But you have not come to the mountain that may be touched and that burned with fire, and to blackness and the darkness and tempest, to the sound of a trumpet and the voice of words, so that those who heard it begged that the word should not be spoken to them anymore. Okay, that's what they were saying after they heard the voice and the sound of the Lord. For they could not endure what was commanded. And if so, as beasts touched the mountain, it should be stoned or shot with an arrow. When they came, I think it was Mount Sinai, they came to the base of Mount Sinai, when God met with them. He told Moses one of the things is, he said, if a beast or a person touch it, they're going to be destroyed. They're going to be killed. Okay? And so terrifying was the sight that Moses said, I am exceedingly afraid and trembling. See, God is a powerful God. And when you come into the presence of God, there is pure intimidation. And you really have to watch how you conduct yourself. He says, but you have come to Mount Zion and to the city of the living God, okay, the heavenly Jerusalem, an immutable company of angels, to the general assembly of the church of the firstborn. Church of the firstborn is the church of Christ, who are registered in heaven. Did y'all know the church of Christ was registered in heaven? The church of the firstborn is registered in heaven. Did y'all know that? The judge of all, the spirit of just men made perfect. To Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speak better things than that of Abel. We have come now to Jesus. A better covenant. Throughout the book of Hebrews, you hear what you have is better than what you had. All throughout the book. What you have, Christ is better, Christ is better, Christ is better, Christ is better. It's redundant, but it's true. All throughout the book of Hebrews. So why in the world would you want to give up the best for less? Why? So Jackson, if you had $100 bill, and I had a $5 bill, and you wanted to change with me, I'd take the 100. Give you the 5. But if we're making it sense for you, you have the best. Why would you want to take less for the best? And sometimes we do it a lot of ways. When we decide that years ago, when they first started out with, what do you call that thing on the, when you record stuff, the games and stuff? Football games? The DVR and guys at church, I don't know, I got to stay home and watch the game. You know, I want to see it live. So you're willing to give up your time with God to watch the game live? You willing to go to the beach on Sunday morning than to be in worship service? Why are you giving up the best for the worst? And when you go out of town and you don't go to church on Sunday, you give up the best for the worst. In so many ways in our lives, we put other things in front of God. And we really have to be careful about that, church. We really, truly have to be careful about that. Well, like we have about 5 minutes left, and I'm going to stop right there. I hope you got something from the lesson. I tried to go slow because really verses 1 and 2, and it was a good lesson all the way around. So I want to encourage everybody out there to read it for themselves, okay? Read it for yourselves. If you have any questions about it, please get back in contact with one of the brothers here, and we'll try to further instruct you. So with that being said, we're going to close in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you once more again for blessing us to be here on this morning and to study another portion of the word. Pray, Father, that the things that were said here this morning has reached the ears of those who are listening, and that, Lord, they have gained some knowledge about you and your Son Jesus that they will apply to their personal lives. Lord, continue to bless us here at South 41 to teach and preach the word. And help us remember, Father, we may be quarantined, gospel is locked down. The gospel is still free. The gospel is still on the loose.